Did it start? You know what the biggest problem is with the world today? Is that everyone is a pussy. Look, I'm eating meat. I'm drinking beer. Oh no, cardinal sins. Let's make it worse. Everyone's a pussy today. You see that? That's resin. I scraped my bowl out, my glass pipe that I smoke my cannabis out of. Sometimes I use my nails as tools because God gave them to us for a reason. Beavers' teeth, they constantly grow because they need to chew on trees. It's one of their purposes. Cats, their claws grow ever sharper, and they have an inclination towards sharpening them on everything, including the furniture. Buy scratch pads for your cats. But man's teeth do not continue to grow. Our hair on our head and the nails upon our hands continue to grow as we go about our daily lives of gaining beneficial nutritional sustenance. All of these things culminate in a question in my mind of, why does everyone feel the need to trim these? Why do you run from the beast within that wants to break free? Why do you subdue it so consistently? And so, mankind, in its incessant societal need to metrosexualize itself into some sort of homogenous, acceptable breed of person that can be amicable and agreeable to every single freaking person that they ever encounter for the rest of their lives, because God forbid we offend somebody's feelings. We might grow as people for a change. I have opinions about society. And I think that man no longer embraces that primordial existence we all spawned from, when sticks and stones were the Walkmans and laptops of society. You got a good stick, bro? Let me see. Dude, this thing is like as thick as my arm. And it's like 10 feet long, or whatever measurement Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons used to define the length of things at the time. Dude, I will legit, I'm not even shitting you, I will give you 20 sheep pelts, 3 of my donkeys, and like half an ounce of bronze powder in a cotton cloth for that stick. Cut it in half, let me have half of it. You don't need that 10-foot long stick, but that is such a good effing piece of wood. I want it. Back to the bestial necessities of existence. When violence was the number one necessity and the willingness to commit it for all survival of any civilization. Oh, I love when the salt and the fat create a film on my palate and my tongue after chewing on a meat stick for a moment. Luxurious. Let's talk about Azure Dreams. Azure Dreams is a roguelike game, meaning that each time you go into the dungeon, you're level 1. You start over. This game's architecture began with Sharon the Wanderer on the Super Famicom and was highly popularized by Torneco's Mysterious Dungeon on the PlayStation 1. An offshoot of Dragon Quest IV, the merchant character. Look, we are really deep into the buckshot. We are pretty deep into the slug as well. But there was this fascination with randomly generated floors, items placed at random, enemies within a certain range, level range threshold placed in certain floor ranges. Sometimes you get good items, sometimes you get bad items. Sometimes you get things that upgrade your weapon or your armor, and each time you go back in, it's like, well, I got a gold sword +5 and a wooden shield +6. So I'm going in at floor 1 with a little bit extra. You know what I'm saying? The first time I came in here and you kicked my butt. No, your first few couple floors, you ain't nothing now. That is a roguelite. The best way I can describe it. And the thing that makes Azure Dreams, to this day, amongst the necessity for randomizers that everyone loves, to culminate in the existence of Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid combined into a single ROM where you're finding the hook shot in Norfair and you're getting power bombs as the main dungeon upgrade in the second dungeon in the World of Light and Link to the Past, and you go between the two games, everything has to be randomized. In this time of randomized loving, it shocks me that Azure Dreams has not achieved a greater overall notoriety. I'm so effing drunk. I just looked at the timer. 8 minutes. Son of a bee. Wow, we're going. Let's go. Let's just go. Tokai Teo didn't hesitate when she came around that fourth corner. Just went for it. Let's just go for it. This is a dungeon crawler roguelike. 40-floor tower. But it's got like town building. And because it's made by Konami, Tokimeki Memorial style dating sim? I was 14 when I played it. I didn't want anyone to know I was interested in girls. You know that age? Did y'all have that age at 14? I did. And Azure Dreams was fantastic first experience of experiencing a Japanese dating sim inside my town building roguelite dungeon crawler. And here, finally, 9 minutes in, I'm finally gonna say, hang on, let's draw it out. I don't care, it's good content. Let's just draw it out. Let's enjoy a little more meat. The pepper. The pepperiness that first hits the tongue. It opens up the taste buds. It allows you to just taste everything. So good. This is a Pokemon game. 10 minutes in. Finally said it. Let's go. I'm making videos. I ain't playing. This is a Pokemon Roguelite. Y'all play the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games? This came out like 11 and a half years before the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, and it is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You just play as the trainer. The trainer's level is level 1 each time you go into the 40th floor tower, and there's no checkpoints. You got to get to the 40th floor in one go. But your first couple times through, you're going to get to floor 5, maybe 10. Hey, I got to floor 15 this time. Oh man, I got to floor 20. Oh man, it's tough out here though. I think that maybe I need better monsters before I get a little further than this. As you're exploring the mystery dungeon, occasionally you will find monster eggs. And there's 3 different things you can do with a monster egg, actually. When you acquire one, it's an item. By picking it up off the ground, pirate software. And adding it to your inventory. Sorry. Sorry, hang on. Hold up. I'm good. So you can like hold items in this game, and this is very important. I want you to remember you can hold items in this game over your head. That is a state you can be in with an item in your hands outside of your inventory, which is capped at 20. And usually you're going to have a sword and a shield and a monster. And then by the time you're like, oh, hey, this girl who's going to effing die if she doesn't get this weird herb that apparently is found between floors 15 and 20. I guess I'm going to grind these floors for a little bit until I find this herb so I can make sure that this frickin' girl doesn't effing die. Yeah, that's probably a good idea for me to do, right? Somewhere along the way, you're going to find the other monster caller. And then you can have 2 monsters out at a time. And then it's you, the trainer, with your sword and your shield and your 2 different monsters and your ability to enact specific commands on a turn-by-turn basis to say, hey, you're going to barf this wind elemental attack as a rail cannon down this hallway to attack that enemy. And you are going to go Chrono Trigger style and infuse my golden sword plus 15 with fire elemental damage, and we're going to crush this mofo right in front of us. And now this thing that is tumbling down the hallway is weakened, so the 3 of us can attack all at once in a trifecta of badassery, and we're going to nuke this fool down, because hey, actually, we're getting kind of strong now. We're able to fight this tower's bullcrap now. We're getting up there. And here's the herb to cure that girl. And then you're starting to get to the point where it's like, hey, I'm starting to find a couple of these elemental herbs. These magical herbs that can change a monster's elemental affinity from fire, wind, and water to another permanently. Pokemon had to add steel type and fairy type and correct the fact that there were no dragon moves that did damage based on your attack or special attack because there was only Dragon Rage in Gen 1. And in Azure Dreams, they just said, what if we just create 50 monster archetypes? And you can cycle them all between fire, wind, and water type, totaling 150 different monsters. This came out before Pokemon, by the way. Look it up. Came out before Pokemon. And so it's not like, oh, I have a Kraken. Now it's like, what if I had a wind, fire, and water Kraken? What if my little overpowered dragon pet that I start the game with, because like in a Pokemon game, you have a starter that's just overpowered. You start with a little badass dragon thing as your initial starter pet, and his stats are just superior. So eventually you get the second caller, and it's like, I'm going to use this other, monster alongside my little pet dragon thing, and we're going to dominate the F out of this place. My gold sword and my wooden shield, because gold and wood do not rust, and I've walked across so many rust traps that have degraded the enhancement tier of my weapons and armor. But now, my golden sword at plus 27, I get to start this dungeon with 28 attack power, because the gold sword has 1 attack, but it cannot rust, and therefore that's what you should put all of your red sands into to continuously increase its base attack power. And your blue sand into a wooden shield, because again, it cannot rust. Yes, those things you thought with 1 defense and 1 attack that were useless eventually become the thing that you carry into the tower with you time and time again, along with your 2 trustworthy monsters and a wind crystal, just in case. And oh, you have scaled the tower so many floors. You have felt so many times, I'm going to get to the 40th floor. I'm finally going to get to the very top of this place. Only to be succumbed somewhere between the 30th and the 38th floor. So many times. Just short of your goal. And then, if Kami, if the gods, if fortune herself so favors you as one of the many players of Azure Dreams, you may find a kid egg. K-I-D-D, kid. Or kid. A dragon whelpling. Not this weird anime goggles wearing dragon buddy you got at the beginning of the game, but a true dragon. It's just a baby. It's weak, but it needs training. Again, this came out before Pokemon. And the penultimate monster in this game is the kid, which at level 20 evolves into a dragon. It evolves into visually a European-style dragon that is standing Japanese Godzilla-style, bipedal, with its little teeny tiny scratchy Tyrannosaurus arms in front of itself that can't really do anything, but a super long giraffe neck, the ability to barf ultrasonic fires, and teeth that could break up, and jaw strength that could break apart diamonds like a whole stack of Pringles chips. This is a dragon. Of every game I have ever played in my life that gives you a dragon in your party, number 2 is Dragon Quest V, for giving you a grand dragon that can barf freezing and hate-filled fire breath for 200 to up to 300 damage AoE on every single enemy all the time for 0 MP cost. That feels like a dragon. But oh, sweet mercy. You see, unlike Pokemon, where individual moves have a certain power point cost that you can refill at centers and Pokemon stations, monsters in Azure Dreams only have a max MP. And even walking around with them every 10 steps, much like my beloved Dragon Quarter, takes a little bit of their MP away from them. You need a semi-rare, sort of uncommon pita fruit, a magical apple, to restore a mere 20 MP to one of your monsters. Otherwise, once you've learned to maximally efficiently use all resources at your disposal, you only bring your monsters out when combat is engaged. You don't walk around with them anymore. But the dragon... If you read its Pokédex entry, it says one of dragons' favorite foods to eat is metal. All forms of metal it loves to devour. And so, you go back into the tower with your level 20 dragon, freshly evolved. You make it barf a bunch of Godzilla breaths and everything and completely obliterate them. And then you wonder, is that flavor text? Or do you actually mean that? And then you find a copper sword +1 on the ground. And so you pick it up in your hands. And then you throw it at your dragon. You just throw it. And then it grabs it and eats it and recovers 9 MP. Oh, really? I wonder if I were to pick up these 19 copper coins off the ground and throw them at you. Oh, you recovered 3 MP? Every single item in this dungeon that is made of metal? Oh. Seiryu-chan, please eat. Have unlimited MP. Engage your primal rage against all that come before us. Break their jaws asunder and make them taste what broken teeth are like stuck in the back of their throats. Let them know what the suffering of last seconds of life is like, immolating and sinking into a puddle of one's own ashen ruin. I will just feed you the tiny trinkets of metal and the tiny bits of money that I find on the ground. For that is what fuels you. Yes. We will climb this tower. And nothing will stand before us. We will go to the top, and nothing will stop us. And then finally, you go to the top. You reach the 40th floor. And it's a JRPG boss that you can't beat. And then your little dragon buddy, who was with you from the beginning, he comes through. And he's like, we're going to end this cycle of bullcrap. We're going to break the chain. And everybody's going to be free. I trust your judgment. Let this one strike against our foes shape the future. And it's pretty tight. Azure Dreams is a top 5 PlayStation 1 game. Thank you for listening. Appreciate your time. You should definitely play Azure Dreams. God bless. I'm out.